A very good evening to everyone present over here, respected dignitaries on the dais, honored guests, members of the artistic fraternity, patrons of culture, members of the press, and all my dear friends. Welcome to this beautiful and momentous occasion. I, Pranaame Kashyap, head of student wing of the Amrapali magazine, welcome you all to this blissful occasion. I request all our distinguished guests to please come on the dais and take their seats. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome you all to the launching ceremony of the first printed edition of Amrapali magazine, a landmark moment in a journey that has been rooted in passion, perseverance, and purpose. Amrapali magazine, a creative and constructive initiative of Amrapali Society for Arts and ventured by Dr. Pranaame Bhagawati ji, founder and editor-in-chief, was envisioned as a platform to accumulate and curate essential news, narratives, and updates related to the Indian arts, culture, and heritage from across the globe under one umbrella. What began as a cultural vision has today evolved into a strong, credible voice for arts. With great pride, we share that Amrapali magazine has stepped into its 11th year and today marks a historic milestone as we launch the February 2026 edition. Arambh, the first ever printed Soiree of the magazine. True to its name, Arambh symbolizes a new beginning. This edition focuses on a timely and powerful theme: India's creative economic boom through the rise of artpreneurs. It celebrates creators who are not only preserving culture, but also redefining sustainability, innovation, and entrepreneurship through arts. At the heart of this journey stands a remarkable visionary, Dr. Pranaame Bhagawati ji. Dr. Bhagawati is an Indian classical dancehall, choreographer, author, and cultural activist and entrepreneur, whose artistic journey transcends borders. She has toured and represented Indian culture in countries such as Germany, UAE, England, Wales, USA, Qatar, Guyana, Singapore, Tanzania, and more, carrying the spirit of India wherever she performed. She founded Amrapali Society for Arts and Amrapali magazine with a deep commitment to the propagation of traditional culture, international cultural exchange, and cultural sustainability. Extending its vision further, she launched FabuStack, an innovative e-commerce platform aimed at uplifting rural craftsmanship, seamlessly blending tradition with a contemporary approach, and giving specific platform to northeastern India's artists and art curators. An exceptional cultural event curator and organizer, Dr. Bhagawati has tirelessly worked to popularize Indian arts and traditions, emphasizing their relevance and impact on society and humankind at large. Her professional journey also reflects exemplary leadership. She proved her excellence as a diligent cultural administrator, visionary, focused, proactive, and determined leader during her tenure as regional officer cum consultant at the Guwahati Regional Office, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and Director Kathak Kendra, the National Institute of Kathak Dance under the Sangeet Natak Academy, an autonomous body of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Adding yet another feature to her cap, 2 of her books, Kathak Kalpika and The Art of Dancing, are currently under publication, further contributing to academic and artistic discourse. Today's celebration is further enriched by the presence of our esteemed guests, whose contributions to art, culture, media, governance, and diplomacy are truly inspiring. We extend a warm and respectful welcome to Professor Dr. K.G. Suresh ji, Anuja Bapat ji, Dr. Amarendra Khatua ji, and Dr. Sandeep Marwah ji, who is on their way to this occasion. Your presence today adds immense value and grace to this occasion, and we are deeply honored to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the threshold of this new beginning, Arambh, we celebrate not just a piece of magazine, but a movement that amplifies voices, empowers creators, and reimagines India's cultural economy. On this inspiring note, I would now request Dr. Pranaame Bhagawati ji to kindly address this august gathering.
Before I extend a welcome address to you all, I'd like to felicitate our esteemed speakers here. So may I request our volunteer to please assist me. On this auspicious occasion, please accept my namaste to all. Today, as I stand here to welcome you all, I cannot measure my emotion that I have reached today after 11 years of founding this magazine. And each of your presence means a lot to me. It doesn't matter if the chairs are filled with people who are not concerned about arts or culture or even its existence. But these few chairs, those are filled, is actually like my supporting my backbone. And I really thank, and I'm so grateful, and I'll remember this day for my entire life. Bringing this magazine was during the time of summer in 2014 when I was in Maldives, appointed as a teacher cum performer under the ICCR. And when I thought that I have to launch such an approach where culture is not just a news, but we have to make it as a movement. Why a movement? Because although it's a time where we are very much inclined and also making our utmost effort to be present in the social media or taking up projects, whether it's collaborative with the government or from your own effort, major concerned voice of artists are still not activated. And during this entire course of time, when I'm an artist, or I'm an art curator, or maybe I organize events, or even if I write an article, I find that the artist community is segregated, or maybe secluded in various destinations, be it some bodies or maybe an organization. For example, I start my journey, professional journey, as a dance teacher in one of the reputed residential school of India, that is Vidya Devi Jindal School. And such reputed residential schools, they pay good pay scale even to the dance teachers, and they also appoint master's degree holders of any of these dance form to the PGT degree level, PGT status of the school, who will teach the dance in the senior more classes, be it 11th or 12th. And during our tenure, wherein myself and my husband, we both were engaged there, he made an effort that this form should not stay just as an art form or an art education or just a work experience class, because it will be always just a subject. Agar usi stage mein rahenge to. And this cannot be just a subject. Why? Because this is the only subject that is related to society, that is related to history, that's related and can be found in archaeological sites, in anthropology. These all are very strongly connected in literature. Hence, we both strive that this should be 5th and 6th subject for the board students. And then we came to a point that it happened, 5th and 6th subject. There are very few schools, I have to say, that have this kind of a subject, either dance, music, fine arts, visual arts, whatever, even theater, as a 5th and 6th subject. There are very few schools, and amongst them, very few pay good pay scale to their teachers. Apart from whatever a dance and a music teacher goes through, mostly the substitution classes comes to them. And it's a fact because they think कि dance music है तो उनको use कर लो because they think because dance क्या सबको तो आता ही है. Then comes a struggle to understand that other schools that doesn't pay a good pay scale, they will appoint a dance or a music teacher or an art teacher in a minimum wage of 18,000 to 25,000 or rarely in 45,000 criteria. Why I'm saying this is that if today, being an artist, we struggle, our upcoming generation, be it our own children or our students, will never take it as a career. Because if you cannot give them a stability of income, because see, expenses same for everyone. Even for a CEO or a bank manager or a professor, expenses all same. We also dream to have an iPhone. We also dream to have an expensive car. So somewhere, when I said that it's secluded, why? Because we do not have a unified committee who will decide things, that this criteria of artists will available this kind of wage. And departments or ministries like the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of External Affairs, and the Education and the HR ministries are four main ministries that needs to link with one another for the promotion of artists and the art. Only then such effort will be fruitful. Things will take time. Things will also take time for all of us to stay unified and make a voice. This is just a start, and I'm saying this is not a magazine. It's a voice, it's a movement, or at times it could be a revolution. We don't know, but this is only for the arts and the artist. This is for sure. And alone I cannot strive. Alone it'll be very difficult for me to take ahead, because ultimately everything is funding. Everything is cooperative or collaborative approach. And in this, I will really seek your help, or each one of your help, so that this magazine sustain. When I, at a later stage, maybe just prior to 2 years back, when I have landed in Delhi, this magazine was still going on. And I have to mention that the editorial team, wherein I have Rajni Rao ji, Sarita ji, and others, they have really shown great help in supporting this vision of the magazine, and I'm grateful to you. In this evening, we also have two distinguished guests from Guyana. Mr. Satish ji, who is here with his family, Mr. Shruti Bhushan Pathak ji, who is here with his wife. Both are integrally connected to the promotion of Indian arts, culture, philosophy, far away in Guyana. We as Indians have to link with each others in the Indian diaspora if we have to make it large. 2 new segments have been introduced, dedicated to the Northeast India, which we name as Purvottar Prabodha, and also another segment, the Girmitiyas. India is not only about dancing here or doing some exchange program outside. We have to stay unified so that we have a formulated syllabus for all the ministries, all the bodies, wherever it is executed. So that's another debate or a talk we'll have. But tonight, when we are having such great speakers, collaborators, and actually curators and promoters of our arts, I have to say these people who are sitting here on the dais are personally very connected to me deeply. Why so? In one just single request, they have said yes to everything. Why they have said yes to everything? Because they understand that a voice is required for a movement. They understand that their single help or support would mean a lot to the magazine and also to the community. I welcome Dr. Sandeep Marwah ji. Thank you so much for gracing this event. Please, sir. Each one of the guests enlightens me. They have so much of positivity, so much of some kind of attraction they have. And when I was curating the guest list, I was thinking why these people attract me. Why these people attract me? They have an aura of doing good things for others. That's the main number one point. They are doing extensively well for the growth of others. Anuja Bapat in her designation, undergoes big major projects to establish MSME companies and personals. That's a huge project that she undergoes. KG Suresh sir, I first got connected to him during my tenure at the Kathak Kendra as a director. We were having Kathak Yatra at different places. I connected to him when he was there at that time, the Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University for Media and Journalism. And it was a tremendous, marvelous show. And I still remember how supportive and collaboratively he extended his help, and it was a grand success. Amarendra Khatua ji, in some way, he is like my godfather. Why godfather? Because he will trigger something. He understands me or my caliber, or he has a vision that I can do this, he will trigger the rifle. And then when that is triggered, I have to target that, place it the right place. So I thank him for being an integral part of this magazine too. Dr. Sandeep Marwah ji is an extensively wonderful personality doing great in the field of media and journalism. Have founded the Noida Film City, have founded the AAFT University, the AAFT online classes. These are major steps. Even students from the far away countries can join in his institution and undergo these lessons through online. I thank you, each one of you, for gracing the occasion. I won't speak much because when a daughter is there already, they're comparing. So when she was reading the profile, I was just hoping when she's to end it. But thank you, Vomil. I would like to inaugurate, firstly, welcome, sir, and then launch the magazine, and then start the talk on India's creative economy boom through the rise of artpreneurs that will be chaired by our very respected director of the India Habitat Center, Professor Dr. KG Suresh ji. First, I'd like to honor Sandeep Marwah. We start the talk now. That will be chaired by Professor Dr. KG Suresh ji. I hand over the stage to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Pranaame ji, and so much to say, but then the chair has to speak at the end, so I'll reserve my comments. A warm welcome to all of you, because without you, this would not have been possible. And because these days, artists are easier to find, but connoisseurs are difficult to locate. So thank you for coming. It's a very, rich panel, and I'm glad that I'm connected to each. I mean, this is one of the few panels where to each of the panelists, I'm closely connected. Pranaame ji, as rightly pointed out, when she was director at the Kathak Kendra, the Kathak Yatra was there. And we had the honor of hosting the Kathak Yatra at our university when I was Vice Chancellor in Bhopal. Subsequently, when I came here, she invited me to many programs. And during those programs, I was fortunate, to meet a lot of artists and people who are connected to arts, including Rajni ji is here. They are all among the friends that I made during, my visits to Kathak Kendra. And subsequently, we had invited Rajni ji for a session on Natya Shastra, which we organized. Second, again, Amarendra Khatua ji. He is a friend, guide, philosopher. I share a special relationship with him. वो एक कहावत है कि वो क्या कहते हैं, सारी खुदाई एक तरफ, पत्नी का भाई एक तरफ. तो ये भी उड़ीसा से हैं, मेरी पत्नी भी उड़ीसा से हैं. तो ये एक विशेष रिश्ता है. संदीप मारवा जी तो हमारे मीडिया के मित्र हैं और न जाने कितने सालों से एक दूसरे को जानते हैं. कितने आपके मतलब some of the finest festivals that he organizes. I was privileged to be part of that at the Asian Academy of Film and Television. I have also had the privilege of hosting him on some occasions. So again, very important. And last but not the least, Anuja ji. Of course, apart from being a very senior officer, her brother was a dear friend in Bhopal, Pradeep Karambalikar ji. He's an entrepreneur, and we have worked together in Bhopal. So, as I said, that this is not only a very rich panel in terms of content, but also for me personally, a very some people who are very close to my heart. So I don't know where to begin, but I think that since Sandeep Marwah ji has just come, I would like to give him a break so that he can, and I would request Shri Anuja? Okay. So, let the ladies have the first word. So, Anuja ji.
So, distinguished panel here, Chaube ji, Dr. Amarendra ji, Mr. Marwah, and the host and the very distinguished Dr. Pranaame Bhagawati ji. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. While introducing me, she said I'm coming from MSME. For me, this is a very mixed, I don't know which role to take. So I'll tell you, I'm really overwhelmed by the eminence sitting on both sides. Not because, more because in the capacity of a creative person, I have been for long only an audience. And then last year, after a gap of 40 years, I started learning Kathak again. So I'm presently, I did a small 6 months. So that's how I had met Dr. Bhagawati. I went to her when she was Director Kathak Kendra, and I said, do you have something for people like me who barely managed to find a weekend free and still want to do something and have lost all the energy and everything that is usually associated with dancers? And it's been 40 years. I last danced in 1984, and that was with a very eminent person, Dr. Puru Dadich. I recently met him when he was here in Delhi for a show, and then I have not done anything since then. Fortunately, I had not forgotten anything. Many things I still remember from my, 1984. That was for 2 years only that I could learn that. And she said, "नहीं, अभी तो हम कुछ ऐसा नहीं करते. We are more for regular, more serious students. So अभी हम सोचेंगे." Then I found some course in Triveni, and I joined the classes of Mr. Sanjeev Gangani, who is now my official guru. So I've continued with him for some time, and that's where I'm trying to regain what I had learned all those years ago. So here I'm probably the junior most of the creative persons. So that makes me really curious and really, happy that I'm here standing before you. But in my other avatar, as she said, I come from a place where we talk about entrepreneurs in the sector of MSME and the way creative entrepreneurs would like to, create a place for them in the economic journey, economic development journey of India. Because when we talk about art, particularly Indian art of any form, we have a very rich heritage to preserve. When we talk about intellectual property, when we talk about heritage which needs to be preserved, how do we do that? And that's where you need to mainstream it. In the earlier times, you used to say ki there was patronage, there was a way of preserving and protecting and encouraging art, which we lost in the course of time. So we have to find new forms of protecting and preserving and encouraging arts. A lot of it has been done in the last decades, but again, now we are again unshackling ourselves from the typical government patronage to a more self-driven, collaborative from the entire society. The movement has to come from that, and that's where probably MSME becomes a very important perspective. I would not say a place, because when we talk about MSME today, barring few things, say agriculture or few professions, which everybody who is doing an economic activity can be an entrepreneur. That is the broadest definition of an enterprise you can have. Anybody with, whether he's doing a service, whether he's into manufacturing, whether into any economic activity which can be considered as entrepreneurial, can be. The product can be tangible, non-tangible, service, everything. So in that sense, everybody is eligible to be an enterprise. And then when we talk about, again, in India, in MSME, the ministry started a portal called Udyam Registration Portal in 2020. And we defined a broad definition of MSME. With that, we started an online registration for the entire set of what we call industrial classification. And you would be wondering, happy to note, I was getting this data. At the moment, I'm the one who is in charge of this Udyam portal and the formalization of MSME, so I could get the access to data. So when we talk about NIC, what we call very, very dry thing, but National Industrial Classification. So Division 90 is about the creative art and entertainment activities, and within that you have 5-digit codes for every such creative activity assigned. So in this, you have stage productions, you have operations of concerts, theatre halls, you have activities of sculptors, painters, cartoonists, you have activities of individual writers, technical writings, independent journalists, everything, every type of creative art. And then whatever we could not define is obviously defined into others. And we also have a similar classification available at the individual level when we talk about national classification of occupation. So these two things become very important when we talk about classifying creative person as an entrepreneur, because she very rightly said that you cannot have art on the sidelines, on the side rack, and say that we will preserve it. So everything which needs to be preserved has to be mainstreamed. I always say a language or an art, anything and everything will survive the test of time only if it is mainstreamed into our lives. आप केवल भाषा बोलने के लिए बोल के उसको जिंदा नहीं रख सकते जब तक आप उस भाषा में इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं कर सकते, जब तक आप उस भाषा में साइंस नहीं कर सकते, वो भाषा नहीं जिंदा रहेगी. सिमिलरली उस आर्ट में अगर आपके आज का रिफ्लेक्शन होगा और वो आज की तरह से उसे गवर्न किया जाएगा उसे, तो शायद वो ज़्यादा ताकत के साथ प्रिजर्व्ड रहेगा. तो आपको मैं जान के मैंने जब चूँकि डेटा निकलवाया इन सब में, तो यू वुड नॉट बिलीव मेरे पास ऑलरेडी 1,25,961. दिस इज एग्जैक्टली द नंबर दैट आई गॉट ऑन उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन हु आर एक्चुअली रजिस्टर्ड इन दिस national industrial classification. Now we register every form of enterprise. You can be a proprietor, you can be a partnership, you can be a trust, you can be a SHG, you can be a cooperative, you can be a LLP, you can be a company, you can be any form of enterprise, and you can be an MSME. We do not. So I just thought that I'll bring it out so that any of you who might be thinking about creating a economic unit of your activities would be able to think about on those lines, and we would be happy to help if we can give you more clarity if anybody of you need that. I hope some of you are already associated with people who are on the Udyam portal or similar such. Yes, similar such. So I have one MSME connection also, not just the art connection. So I thought I'll do that. And And this becomes very essential. Similarly, we recently actually started, 2 years ago, we started something called PM Vishwakarma scheme. PM Vishwakarma scheme is not related to the performing arts, but it is about, and it is not essentially about promoting the art at the higher level, but it is about the 18 traditional heritage craftsmanship of India, artisans. We include 18 different trades into that. It includes trades like washerman and barber also, but if you look at the village economy of a closed village economy, so everybody who was essential to run that closed village economy, it was a sculptor, it was a mason, it was a potter, it was a barber, it was a garland maker, it was a it was a washerman. So also it was a boat maker, it was a fishnet maker, it was a basket weaver. All such 18 trades have been covered under PM Vishwakarma, where we, and the motto, the logo said from entrepreneur to enterprise. These have been the original entrepreneurs of Indian economy who have survived throughout the history of India, and now we are saying that we will bring them on board as an entrepreneur and an enterprise in the modern sense of the word. So what we have done, we have given them a recognition through registration, we have given them basic training, we have provided them modern toolkits. So a washerman, you typically see them कि वो धोबी घाट पे खड़े होके, आज हम जब वॉशरमैन को देखते हैं और जो वॉशरमैन PM विश्वकर्मा में रजिस्टर होता है उसे हम वॉशिंग मशीन देते हैं. सो गांव में खड़ा होने वाला वॉशरमैन भी, या जैसे अभी रिसेंटली मैं एक हिमाचल के स्टोन कटर से मिली. सो नाउ ही इज़ नॉट अ आर्टिस्ट, ही इज़ अ सिंपल स्टोन कटर जो पहाड़ों में पत्थर लगाता है मकान बनाने के लिए. तो पहले वो हथौड़ी से ठोक ठोक के पहाड़ का पत्थर तोड़ता था, तो वो बेतरतीब टूटता था, सही कई बार गलत टूटता था, कई बार टेढ़ा टूटता था. अभी विथ आवर टूल किट ही हैज़ गॉट अ इलेक्ट्रिक कटर. So he is cutting it properly with the proper desired shape, and उसके बाद उसे वो चिकना भी कर पाता है. So as a result, उसका value addition 15 रुपए से 45 रुपए पर पीस हुआ है. So we are actually seeing a increase of, on an average, 40% increase in income of individual विश्वकर्मा artisan. So you have a potter. मैंने potters देखे हैं जो आजमगढ़ से आते हैं, जो black pottery बनाते हैं. They have started making new things. Now they are, once they graduate as Vishwakarmas, they are encouraged to become part of Udyam registration so that they become an MSME. The moment you become an MSME, there are many things that you are entitled to. You get a collateral-free loan where you have a guarantee up to 75% of collateral-free loan of 10 crore rupees, not less than that. And then you have, if you are a woman entrepreneur, the guarantee extends as much as 90%. If you are again a northeastern, or if you are a smaller, very small enterprise, that also there are other benefits. You are entitled for priority sector lending, you are entitled for other schemes where MSMEs are. So, I mean, wherever there is a possibility as an MSME, so you may be an artist, but you have a product. So that product can grow and multiply, can have economic manifestations through such a recognition, not just as an artist, but as an entrepreneur, as you rightly said, creative entrepreneur. So I thought I'll put that. Recently, my brother, who has been a corporate, another one. So I come from from the Ministry of MSME and a family full of MSME entrepreneurs. So another of my brother, he recently quit his very high-profile corporate job and started his own sports company. The sports company trains Olympians, and they have trained many state champions and all. And they hope that sports becomes a way of life. As she rightly said, that you can't have a side subject and filler subject and expect India to have a change in way of life. When I was in Labasna doing my foundation course, we were made to, at that time it used to feel like that, we were made to see dances, we were made to attend critical, liberal arts panel discussions, and then write summary of that as a part of our learning of Indian culture and heritage, because as a civil servant we were expected to understand those nuances of Indian society. but that has ingrained in us a sense of, the larger perspective of art besides only going to a concert or, seeing it as ki, haan, abhi dekh liya, ho gaya. I will give that to my training as a civil servant, but, and then looking at my brother's work, I realized that he has developed an entire curriculum of sports, where you start as a motor activity for a small kid. And you don't start पहले दिन की हमारे बच्चे को जिम्नास्टिक्स आता है और पहले ही दिन उससे जिम्नास्टिक्स करवाने लगे in the process breaking his muscles. You start as a curriculum कि जैसे पहली क्लास में आप गिनती सिखाते हैं, फिर जोड़ बाकी सिखाते हैं, फिर गुणा सिखाते हैं, then you go to equations. Not that कि पहले दिन उसको जिम्नास्टिक्स करवा दिया. सिमिलरली डांस में भी शायद हम धीरे धीरे चीज़ें लोगों को सिखा सकते हैं. रिसेंटली मेरे बेटे को एक म्यूज़िकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट ख़रीदना था, एंड आई वेंट टू अ शॉप एंड द फेलो सेड, अब तो मैडम केवल परीक्षा के दिन फ़ोटो खिंचवाने के लिए लोग म्यूज़िकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट लेते हैं, बाकी तो वो मोबाइल पे बजाते हैं. तो आई वॉज रियली सो दोज आर द थिंग्स विच आई थॉट कि अगर हम उसे ज़्यादा ऑर्गेनाइज कर सकेंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा. आई वुड बी वेरी हैप्पी इफ़ you need any help in that, and understanding, creating that awareness. We have field offices not only in Delhi but across the country who can help you understand how to register with us, how to take advantage of the MSME schemes, and I would be very happy to be part of this process. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anuja. And this was very important, because we all talk about art, but at the end of the day, how to sustain that art is also important. The economic aspect, very few people talk about. Thank you for taking us through the government initiatives aimed at empowering the artists. Now, I'm sure that you... So, Dr. Sandeep Marwah, yes. Renowned media entrepreneur and... entrepreneur. Yes.
I'm just a servant of the society. Good evening, everyone. What a pleasure to be here this evening with all of you and this beautiful, well-designed program. Let me take this wonderful opportunity to extend my heartiest congratulations to Pranaame Bhagawati and her complete team. And my special thanks to her for inviting me here and giving me this beautiful opportunity to be part of this program. Thank you very much. Let me start with two of my very favorite lines. कि सभी दिशाओं से शुभ सुंदर भाव विचार भरे नित अंतर पुण्य धरा बन जाए स्वर्ग ये मेरे यत्नों से करुणा कर. What I'm trying to tell you here, whether it is north, south, east or west, whether you're in India or abroad, whether you are on the top of the hill or you're standing at a seashore, whether you are in a lush green garden and looking at some colorful flowers, or maybe looking at the most beautiful woman on earth, the fact is there are two things which are much more beautiful than what you actually exactly see with your naked eyes. And these two things are your thinking and your feelings. And the best part is both the things are right within you. You don't even need eyes for that. On this very auspicious day, let's pray, hey Lord, give me good thinking, give me good feelings so that I can do good deeds, and through my good karmas, I would love to convert this earth into heaven. This is what I believe. I'm sure you will also believe in the same. I'm sorry I was late. Yes, I was in Palestine embassy. There were about 20 ambassadors. It was a round table going on. I was part of the discussion, and we were all that time addressed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Palestine, and she was talking about such an emotional and such a painful experiences, what all happened in Palestine. And it was so difficult to come out from that round table. So I was actually looking for a break. Jahan break mili, and then I skipped and I say, no, I have to be here. My commitment is also here. And trust me, I saw my map. It says 6.4 kilometers, but trust me, it took me 42 minutes. Can you imagine? This is what Delhi is all about. But it has given me an opportunity to write 2 lines in between these 42 minutes. कि प्यार नहीं है सुर से जिसको वो मूर्ख इंसान नहीं, सुर इंसान बना देता है, सुर रहमान मिला देता है, सुर की आग में जलने वाले परवाने नादान नहीं. Yes, to Sur stands for creativity. or anything and everything which is connected to creative arts. And I have always believed that if you have no love, affection, or attraction, or liking, or loving for any creative art, then in my language, you are half-baked human being. There's something which is missing in you, that means. On the other side, if I put it very positively, that you are a complete human being if you have love and affection for art and culture. And I have always believed that writing and reading is also another very big creative art, because it's a base for probably most of the creative arts today in this world. And I'm very happy to be present on this beautiful, auspicious occasion where Amrapali's new magazine, volume 12 and issue number 8, which has been released today. I'm feeling lucky whenever and wherever there is an invitation for a book, for a magazine, anything to do with the writing work. Trust me, I jump into it. I left such an important conference. I wanted to be here because this is my love, this is my liking, this is my interest. I have always believed in. I've got 4 libraries, probably 15% of my income I actually give to libraries, and I have today my investment is more than 1 crore of rupees only in books, because I've believed that books are your best companion, books are the real stock of knowledge, books are the spirit of your house. If you don't have books at home, then trust me, your house is without spirit. Go back home, buy some books, keep some books in your house. That's very important. And if you are not interested in buying books, then please subscribe to these kind of magazines, which will keep on coming to your doorstep and give you ample opportunity to learn more. The minute I saw the cover, everything of my interest. I'm happy. Girmitya Saga, only a month and a half back, I've been nominated as the patron to Girmatology, the Global Girmatology Association, where probably people from 30 countries have joined together to speak about India, to remember India, to talk about India, because they are the people who left India almost hundreds of years back, and they are left with very little part of the culture and very little part of the Indian style and way of living, and they want to revive all that. And thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, who's been actually pursuing every department, every section to bring back the Indian culture back to home and back to the country. When I saw the yoga, needless to tell you, I'm a great fan of yoga, and we have trained more than 30,000 people in yoga, and we are the 7th organization out of that charter which we submitted to Honorable Prime Minister to use 21st June as International Day of Yoga. You've been celebrating for 9 years. We've been celebrating for 32 years, mind you. It has taken us years to declare 21st June as International Yoga Day. People thought it's just at a word of a flick. This has been decided. No, it has taken us years and years to. United Nations is very clever, and they take full time to understand. I'm very happy the heading says dancing, art, Indian creativity, economy, boom. I mean, what a lovely write-ups. I think my day is made. मेरे को आज रात का पूरा मसाला मिल गया पढ़ने के लिए. I'm very happy to be here. Once again, my heartiest congratulations to you, ma'am. वो क्या कहते हैं कि 2 लाइनों के साथ ख़त्म करना चाहता हूँ कि राज़े उल्फत छुपा के देख लिया, राज़े उल्फत छुपा के देख लिया, दिल बहुत कुछ जला के देख लिया, और क्या देखने को बाकी है, आपसे दिल लगा के देख लिया. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marwah. In his usual energetic style, he has passed on that energy to the audience also. And thank you for your support to Amrapali. And now, may I invite Mr. Khatua to share his thoughts.
I know the magazine since long time. And please convey my greetings to Rudra Jayant. He's missing here. when we are talking about India, it is 1450 million people. 550 million middle class, perpetually in the market of crisis of expectation. बच्चों को पढ़ाना है, सेविंग्स करना है, बच्चों का शादी करना है, all kind of aspects. 550 million poor, they have to be subsidized, they have to give in welfare benefits, government has to work for that, babus have to work for that. Then 350 million rich public sector government employees, they have their own book. This is the India we are talking about, the unity in diversity. Here, when we are talking about arts, I always tell my friends, 70% is practice, Guru Kripa, sadhana, 30% must be pure politics. She spoke about medium MSME. Performing arts is industry. When are we going to get the recognition? Say, for example, gurus who are teaching 3 students, 30 students, 40 students, it is industry, the training, the component. Therefore, national level, we all have to be educated, whether it is visual art, whether it is performing art, whether it is yoga, all these carry a sense of sustainability, culture, industry, and our belongingness. Therefore, what she is doing through Amrapali, to reach out public, through these articles, to tell them, why don't you raise your awareness? Why aren't you recognizing these elements? Why should not we know about it? Because post-COVID, in India, reading has gone down by 32%. Publishing activity has gone down by 28%. Watching TV and movies has gone down by almost the regular ones, OTT and Netflix, that is different substantially. In this context, raising interest in our performing arts, in arts, is very important thing. Otherwise, there will be no difference between the Trump politics and Indian politics. And I congratulate her. 2-3 things which she has put on the motto of Amrapali. Interlinkage of art with society, culture, and all kind of individuals, cutting across class. Then what happens is that we make up our mind. But somewhere, it also empowers the artist. If I don't make money, if I don't earn my livelihood, if my students don't see a clear future, many people will practice it and then go away. So, like in my little way, I'm a composer for Odissi dancers, for many Kavita, Savita, I do that. But sometimes I see, in a hurry they have to compose because otherwise the composer will ask for money. A Sanskrit scholar will ask for money. So now time has come, through magazine like Amrapali, through education, through increasing awareness, through support of organization, organization which Mr. Suresh runs, India Habitat Center, we have to create a movement. And that empowerment will be our success. Cheers to that. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Khatua. As usual, you are very visionary and coming from ages of experience as the head of ICCR and ambassador to different countries. Well, now is the time because we are coming close to closing time, and all the distinguished, my fellow panelists, equally distinguished audience, my Bharat Bodh Kendra team here, Geeta ji, Amarnath ji, Sangeeta, because without them this would not have been possible. Friends, today is a very special day. Today is Indian Newspaper Day. It was on this day in 1780 that James Augustus Hickey launched Hickey's Gazette or Calcutta Gazette. It was the first newspaper published in India. That's why Hickey is still considered the father of modern Indian newspaper. And James Augustus Hickey's paper was not a PR pamphlet for the British East India Company. It was a critical newspaper, and he had to face a lot of opposition from the East India Company authorities. And on this day, this was not planned, this is a coincidence. And on this day, at a time when digital media has taken over, and there is a feeling that the Gen Z is no more reading the printed word, and everybody is only going digital, it requires a lot of courage to come out with a print edition. And my compliments to Pranaame ji for that, because she really deserves, because I don't see a single advertisement in this. This cannot go on. It requires not only your subscription, as Khatua ji said, but it also requires corporate support in terms of advertisements. And for that, all of us have to support. Otherwise, this won't last for long. She will have to go into digital. But this is, imagine, reading the same thing, this very colorful, publication, reading the same thing in a small mobile phone, how would it look like? So this needs to be not only survive, but also it needs to strengthen in the coming days, enrich further in the coming days. I just want to very briefly say that, we established a few months back the Bharat Bodh Kendra. The whole objective was to promote Indian civilization, culture, arts, crafts, by creating more awareness about it. So those of you who are members of the India Habitat Center would have certainly visited the library. There is a specific segment where we have created a space for Indian art, culture, philosophy, civilization. This apart, we have started a series of lectures, IHC Sanlap series, where we want to go a little deep. Khatua Sahab was there earlier also. We had Reela Hota's book on Odissi, aesthetics and therapeutics. The whole idea was just not to watch Odissi, but also understand Odissi. And on February 17th, for the Sanlab, we are going to have Shobana Narayan here. And her book, recent book, which has been written by Maya Parijat, will be discussed. We had a workshop, which I earlier mentioned, in which Rajni ji was here, on Natya Shastra. This was part of, because we need to know, because I'm a student of communication, when you talk about Indian knowledge system, the Indian communication theory has its foundations in Natya Shastra. So we need to talk about that, we need to understand this. Then we have started an IHC Bharat Bodh Kendra ICCR study circle, wherein we are having very eminent people talking on Indian philosophy every month. This is in collaboration with the Indian Council of Philosophical Research. So we are having these series, workshops, and when, after a long time, I came back from Bhopal, she has left, Pranaame ji has left Kathak Kendra. We caught up recently, and she discussed this idea with me, and I said that habitat is always there for you. Because Bharat Bodh Kendra, this syncs well with Bharat Bodh's vision. That this country needs a magazine. There are some journals, art journals, but a popular magazine is the need of the hour. And I'm glad that many important issues and aspects have been taken up in the first issue. But I want this to talk about equally more important issues, highlight those great artists of yesteryears and bring them face to face with the new generation to tell them that these artists were there, about their lives. That is very important. We need to talk about new professions like what, the Honorable DG has spoken about the MSME. I think that there's a lot of scope. I'll give you just very briefly 2 instances. When you go to a monument, you have guides who will talk about the architecture. But when you go to a gallery, there are very few people, except the artist, unless he is present there, very few people who can tell you about the art. There are very few people, except the artist. But the guide at the monument is not an architect, but he knows about architecture. We need art guides in this country. We need, whether it is performing art, whether it is, your visual arts, you need art guides. You need people who can curate. Recently, one of my students, she organized a folk dance performance, Anvesha Brahma had organized from Odisha. From Berhampur, she got troops here at the Stein Auditorium. And the poor thing, she was running around all the time. And since she was my direct student, I said, "Bhai, logon ko involve karo na. Why are you doing everything?" "Sir, I am tired. Sir, I am exhausted." I said, "Why don't you give it to this work to somebody else?" "Sir, whom do I give it to? Very few people understand folk arts. I can't give it to anybody. Even to write the brochure, I need people who know about the subject." So there is a lot of opportunities, and scope for youngsters. And I'm sure that these aspects can also be covered in this journal. So there are many aspects. I'm sure you will have a very rich editorial board which will comprise people from all. And also, please do some, I won't use the word investigative journalism, but some journalism in the sense that the shortcomings in some of the leading institutions, what can be done about it, not to highlight the problem, but to bring about the solution. We should be having a solution-centric journalism where we should talk about the problems that some of our national institutions related to art and culture are facing, and how can we let the experts speak. That if there is a problem with NGMA, let people who know, modern art speak about it, that this needs to be done. There are similarly many other things, aspects which this has the potential, but to begin with, it has come with a bang. And I congratulate Pranaame ji, her team for that. And I am happy to see, Vamil, the young Gen Z, also being part of this entire initiative. I can only assure you that, please, IHC is a cultural hub of the country. Every day in and day out, you are having programs here. Some of the finest artists come here. Please don't confine this to only the printed edition. Have your podcasts, have your YouTube channels along with that, and let this be one of your major centers of activity. Whatever we can facilitate, the Bharat Bodh Kendra would be happy to facilitate, for you. And last but not the least, I can only say that, we thought that once she came that this is something which is the need of the hour, and Bharat Bodh Kendra should support this. And I am glad that we supported it. And I only urge each one of you, because I am not at all discouraged by the numbers, because art has never been for the mobs. Art has always been for the, not for the masses, but rather the classes. And I have always been taught, because I come from a family of artists. My great-grandfather was instrumental in setting up the Indian Cultural Center at Almora. He was the guru of Uday Shankar. My grandfather was professor of fine arts at Rabindra Bharati University. My daughter is a Bharatnatyam artist. The only exceptions were my father, who was a bureaucrat, and me, I am an academician. We were the odd ones out. But apart from that, I am really delighted that, fewer but better fewer. Those who are there are the people who matter, as rightly pointed out. And thank you for coming, and thank you for patronizing. And keep patronizing Bharat Bodh Kendra also. You have already enlisted given your address. Those who are not members of IHC have already given. We will certainly put you in on our mailing list, and we will be reaching out to you for whenever the next program takes place. Keep coming, keep supporting, and keep reading Amrapali. Thank you. Good night.
This is just a prior speech before the vote of thanks. I thank the esteemed speakers, guests, for their wonderful talk. To each one of you who have come here without any excuses, your presence have shown me so much of support. Guru Nandini Singh ji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. When we talk about this magazine, let me tell you, जैसे डॉक्टर संदीप मरवा जी ने कहा कि आज के लिए पूरा मसाला मिल गया, this is going to be a मसालेदार magazine. I'm telling you, it's not going to be boring. Indian art and culture boring लगता है ना लोगों को. The one who even learn, they do not give their 100% कि थोड़ा सा जान ले, थोड़ा सा कर ले, शायद associate हो सके, शायद कुछ contribution, collaborative, something can happen. So this ये जो कीड़ा है ना, कुछ अगर ऐसा हो जाए, कुछ अगर वैसा हो गया, that needs some kind of an entrepreneur bloodline in us. That is very much required for the artist. In all this while, what I have faced that सभी लोगों का business is going very well. Let it be musicians, let it be artists, क्योंकि बहुत सारा तरीका है to sell their artwork. एक तरीका था, I just forgot that, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, but collaborative with great galleries, they share percentage in earning. Musicians, they play with various dancers. Theaters, they can go to Bollywood industry and they can do acting, actor and actresses. Bollywood wala dance to hardly any classical dancers would go and choreograph because utna platform hi nahi accessible hai. But still, there had been great gurus who have been in the Bollywood, like Gopi Kishan ji or Pandit Briju Maharaj ji, they have done these all great choreographies. But it also matters ki us type ka films or kitne bante hai within a year. It's very few. But all this while, when I have rolled the ball, I have found the dancers are in a very not good state, specifically the classical and the folk. Why? Because some way maybe we have not learned to turn it in an entrepreneurial status. Few from this generation, they have gone to the online trading, they have made packages, they have done all this thing. But some way I feel, because when an artist, a dancer needs to be on the stage, she or he needs to pay all the bills of everything, even for the musicians. और बाद में थोड़ा सा ही शायद remuneration बच भी जाता है या तो नहीं भी बचता है शायद. I feel this is, classical dance and folk artists needs to be a little bit business minded now, because art and business both goes hand in hand. The art in doing business and the business in doing art, both are same coin but both sides. Yes.
I have one point to suggest right now.
Yes.
I think in the Indian this thing, this dance and performing arts has been kept as an entertainers, not as the entrepreneurs. This has to change.
Yes, yes.
We have to be brought into the entrepreneurship. We have to be given that.
We need to, this means we need to have another set of such talk where we will discuss. Thank you for bringing this up. And talking about the cover page, we will try that every month the cover page needs to be attractive. It has some kind of a drama into it. And I have to tell you that this inspiration actually came from her. She said, you make something so that ekdam Connaught Place mein lage rehna chahiye, bookstores mein, people should turn and just see which magazine is this. Shall I help you out with the, doing the modeling? So this was a good business she did for herself, and I said yes to it. Very beautifully photographed by Sanjit Debroy. I have Mr. Shankar Thakur who did the visual design of it. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you so much. I would like to thank finally to the entire team of the Indian Habitat Center, Ms. Geeta ji from the library, research library of this center, and the Bharat Bodh Kendra for extending all the help for this event. Now I call upon Wamil to please give the vote of thanks. Subscription is required for this magazine, please.
As we come to the close of today's program, it is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of Amrapali Society for Arts and the Amrapali magazine. Our sincere gratitude to Dr. Pranaame Bhagawati ji for her vision, dedication, and tireless efforts that have made the launch of the first printed edition of Amrapali magazine, Arambh, a proud and historic moment. We express our deep appreciation to our esteemed guests, Dr. Sandeep Marwah ji, Professor Dr. K.G. Suresh ji, Anuja Bapat ji, and Dr. Amarendra Khatua ji for gracing this occasion and adding immense value to today's celebration. We thank all contributors, collaborators, and the entire Amrapali team for their hard work and commitment, as well as the media and all supporters for their encouragement. Above all, we thank each one of you present here in this blissful occasion for your time, presence, and belief in our journey. With this, we conclude with the program and carry forward with the Amrapali magazine spirit. Have a good night. Thank you.
With the gurus here, we need a group photograph, please. Renu ji, Mustafa ji, Ashavari ji, please. Rajni ji, Sarita ji, Nandini ji, please. Amit ji, please. Please, आइए. Satish ji and Bhushan Pathak ji, please. आइए. Shruti Bhushan Pathak ji, please. Yes.